Here we go. We're going to start with the bolster. So take your bolster and lie down on your mat. So we can lie down and begin to, in the Align class, line up the spine. So sitting a couple inches away from the mat, you can take straight legs here, or you can do Baddha Konasana, bringing the bottoms of your feet together. And I just want you to lie down. Keep your hands on your belly. Doing this in the beginning of class, coming together, lining up the breath. Kind of want you to just get more in tune with feeling the expansion of the belly. So breathing into the hands, breathing into the chest. And tonight, before we take this next hour of self-care, because that's what this is. I mean, we're here to take care of ourselves, right? Whatever's happening outside of the room you're in, whatever's happening out there, not even a part of your world for the next hour. It's just you, your mat, your breath. And I want you to let go of what you think your yoga should be like tonight. Well, I should be doing it this way. I should be doing it that way. No shoulds. You're going to just claim your practice tonight as yours and what it is for you. We do some pranayama or breath control in this class, and we're going to start it in the beginning. So doing the pranayama in the beginning, which can prepare us for the asana or the postures. Sometimes we do the postures first, and then that prepares us for the breath control at the end. Today we're doing it before the asana. So we're going to do the 5-5-10 breath. We've all done it before. It's an inhale for 5 seconds, a pause for 5 seconds, and an exhale for 10. If your exhale doesn't last for 10 full seconds, that's fine. Just be sure that the exhale is longer than 5 seconds. So take a deep cleansing breath to begin. Just fill the lungs as deeply as you can. Separate the lips and exhale. And then on your next inhale, begin. 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, count to 10 in your head. And continue doing that breathing pattern. When you're pausing the breath, you're not holding or straining, you're just simply pausing. And wherever you are, let's do 2 more rounds. And then you can return to regular passive breath. And we'll stay here for just a couple more moments. Your nervous system has a really, really positive response to this type of breath. If you're feeling stressed or anxious, even if you're not, it's going to be beneficial for you, but we're balancing out the nervous system and getting into that rest and digest. The parasympathetic nervous system helps us get out of the fight or flight. On your next exhale, bring your hands to your knees or your legs and just slowly bring the knees back together if you haven't already straightened them. And then separate the feet so you can do windshield wiper legs with the knees. Just drop them to the right, to the left. Just begin to create some heat in the hips. And then you'll slowly roll all the way to your right side and come up to a seated position. You can move your bolster off to the side. We're not going to use that anymore tonight unless you're going to use it for Shavasana. And we're going to come to a seated position. So legs are going to be crossed. Let me bring this down just a little bit. Legs are going to be crossed, but not all the way in Sukhasana. I want you to have your left heel to begin. I want you to have it kind of in front of the knee. So line it up with the knee. And then you'll inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge forward. Bring your fingertips in front of the legs. So just doing a little forward fold here. We're going to walk the hands to the right. So just kind of cross the hands, walk to the right. Lift the shoulders, lift the right shoulder back, ears away from the shoulders. Take a breath here. Bring the right palm down all the way. Inhale the left arm up. And then exhale, lean to the right. So in this twist and side lateral stretch combo. 2 for 1, woohoo! Go ahead and bring the left hand down. Begin to walk the hands all the way to the left. Take a breath here, or 2. And then flatten the left hand. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, lean to the left. Bring the right hand down. Walk back to center. And then sit back up. Get ready to do the other side. So flip it. Right knee, or I'm sorry, the right heel and the left knee are lined up. Fingertips in front of the legs. Take a breath or 2 here. And then walk to the right. 1 breath. Exhale, right palm to the floor. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, lean to the right. So we're moving on this side just a little bit quicker. Bring the left hand down. Walk it to the other side. Doesn't mean we're in a rush by any means. Take a breath here. Flatten the left hand. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, lean to the left. Right hand down. Walk back to center. Sit back up. And then we'll cross the legs and come to hands and knees. All right, so begin your Vidalasana. You all know the Vidalasana. Warm up the spine. Begin with an inhale. Anytime we're opening the chest, we're inhaling. Anytime we're closing up the lungs, we're exhaling. That's just a rule of thumb. It doesn't mean it's like that 100%. There is no all or nothing. But generally speaking, in a yoga practice, when you're opening the lungs, you're inhaling. Just continue back and forth. Move around the hips and the shoulders. When you are arching the back, be sure you're dropping the head all the way completely. Let's do 2 more rounds, and then we'll meet at a flat back. And then once you're at that flat back, we're going to bring the heel to the butt. So we're going to do circles with the hip socket. So just keep the heel towards the glutes and then draw big circles with your knee. So do 3 in one direction and then 3 in the other. Watch where your hands are too. Of course, this is our alignment class. So be sure that your hands are really in the right spot. You're pressing the palms, the hands are in front of the shoulders. Once you're finished with circles on the other side, come back into child's pose. So separate the knees, bring the big toes together, and sit back on the heels. Bring the forehead down to the mat, extend the arms, press the fingers into the mat, feel a little stretch in the shoulders, and really let gravity weigh down the pelvis onto the sitting bones. Bring oxygen to every part of the body. Inhaling, expanding the rib cage on all sides. Take one more breath here. And then as you exhale, lift the head and return back to hands and knees. We're going to come into a dolphin pose here before we go up into a downward facing dog. So come down to your forearms, interlace the fingers, curl the toes under, and press the forearms into the mat as you lift the hip sockets up and back. So it's just like a downward facing dog, but on your forearms. Drop the head. And we're going to try to take 3 to 5 breaths here. If your practice is to walk the toes towards the face, then do that. If you're working on your headstand. Otherwise, just regular downward facing dog, but on your forearms. And if you can't take the full 5 breaths, just come down into child's pose. Even as we're doing the more difficult stuff, same slow, steady breath. Yep, come back down to hands and knees. And now release the fingers so we can come into a regular downward facing dog. So press the palms, curl the toes under, and lift the hips up and back. Really paying attention to your wrist creases. Make sure your hands are not turned in or out. I mean, if they're going to turn anyway, out is better. But we want the wrist creases to be lined up at the front of the mat. Ears are lined up with the inner arms. Walk the legs out. So lengthen through the tailbone, alternate pressing your heels to the ground. And just take some really big movement in the hips here. I mean, really, just drop it to the left, drop to the right. Your pose, organic to your body. Do what feels good here. We're going to do this for another breath or 2. When you're ready to come back to stillness, you're going to lengthen through the tailbone. Make sure the feet are hip width apart. And we're going to walk the hands towards the feet. So knees bent as much as you need to. Begin to walk the hands towards the feet. Bring your hands to the shins. We're gonna work on that. You know, when I say to look up in a sun salutation, it's okay if your knees are bent, but if you want the legs to be straight, you might be here with your hands on the shins. Nice flat back, always lift the sitting bones. Hands to the thighs, elbows back. Can lift halfway up. Lengthening out through the crown of the head. And then you can bend the knees here, but if you feel like your back is strong enough, I want you to just root the feet into the ground and inhale and come up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good. Yes. Grab your block for a minute. We're going to go a little bit deeper with that, okay? I'm going to preface this by saying I used to use like 10 blocks doing this posture, but now I'm down to 1. So look at that progress. Put the block down in front of you. We're going to do Uttanasana, which is just a forward fold. But sometimes we go quickly through the forward folds, and when we do it over and over and over again, we want to make sure that we're doing it without causing any damage. So we begin in Tadasana with Tadasana feet. And the toes don't need to be together. It's better if they're actually sitting bone width apart or hip width apart. And I'm going to stay sideways so you can see what's going on with my back. Okay. Press the feet into the floor. And now we want to rip the mat apart with our feet. That brings an internal rotation of the hip sockets. Do you feel that? Activating the outside legs. Keep that ripping apart motion, because now we've created space here in the hips. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, keep the back and keep the legs strong. Push the hip sockets back. Keep a flat back, flat back. So the next thing that will stop you maybe is your hamstrings. That's what the block is for. Bring your hands to the block. My knees are already starting to bend a little bit so that I'm good here. Like I could use something else to stay here. What I'm going to do is re-engage the legs. Rip the mat apart with my feet. My sacrum is now dropped and I can go a little bit further. So you're going to continue doing that until your body cannot go any further. You can flatten the block even more, but keep the inner edges of the shoulder blades towards each other. Engage the legs, so rip the mat apart. That lifts the sitting bones. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, fold. Keep doing this until you can't go any further. Jesse, lift your sitting bones a little bit. So basically stick your butt up. Yeah, good. Yes, right there. Nice, nice. Take another breath here. Engage the lower belly, lift the sitting bones one more time. Rip the mat apart with your feet one more time. Good, now step back. We're gonna chaturanga down. Or actually you're doing it reverse. So your hands will go forward and chaturanga down. Yep. You can come to your knees first if you need to. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're gonna take 5 breaths here. Or you can choose child's pose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, look up, get to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good. We're going to do Sun Salutation A one more time so you can feel that forward fold. Without the block though. Without the block, you're going to use your shins or your thighs. Okay? All right, here we go. Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Rip the mat apart. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back. Chaturanga. Elbows kissing the sides of the body. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose, 5 breaths. 1, 2, nice straight arms here, good. 3, you're good, Jessie. You're good. 4, 5. Inhale, look up, get to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands in front of the hearts. Nice. Do you guys feel a difference there in that forward fold when you break it down? Yeah, it's really cool. We could spend hours on it, but we're not going to because you guys would hate me. So grab your strap. We're gonna do something fun and exciting with it. And Robin, what you can do is just really pay attention to the upper body, okay? So if you have the strap, and when your strap comes in tomorrow, you can do this too. You're gonna put it around, I guess around the middle of the back. Be sure that your straps that are in the front are hanging evenly. And then we are going to, it won't be tied up today. We're gonna kind of flip them over our shoulders. And then grab the straps from behind. Yep, so undo your, it's not connected. It's just one long strap, yeah. So, and then I'm gonna pull these, and that's gonna help my shoulders. It's gonna lift my chest and spread my collarbones. So as we go through these standing postures, you're gonna be holding on to your suspenders. Yep, flip them over your shoulders, Jessie. And then grab onto them, good. So come to the front of your mat in Tadasana. We're gonna bring the right leg back and start in Warrior One. We're not using our arms for Warrior One today, okay? We're just gonna work on the posture in it. So press the outer edge of the back foot. Grab onto your straps, lift the chest. Engage the lower belly, drop the tailbone. Keep everything you have and bend into the front knee. Good. And pull onto the straps. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Yes, looks good. Take another breath or two. Press the outer edge of the back foot. All right, we're gonna straighten the front leg. So inhale, straighten the front leg. Pull on your straps as you lift the chest. And then keep the length. Exhale forward. Straight leg here. As you continue to go down further, if you feel like you can come closer to your knee, grab onto the straps again and readjust the shoulders. Press the feet into the mat away from each other to help yourself come back to your standing position. Good. Ready? Warrior Three. Here we go. Start to tip yourself forward. You can have a slight bend in the front knee and start to lift the back leg, maybe. So we do have a tendency to want to cave forward onto the floor for this. The strap is going to help us prevent that. Your toes can always stay on the floor. So if your leg is up, work on lifting from the inner thigh and getting the body parallel to the ground. I'm not saying you have to go there today, but if you feel good about where you are, that's the movement you're continuing in. And when you're done, yep, if you fall out of it, just go right back into it. And then bend the standing knee when you're finished, when you're ready. Good. And then you'll bring the feet back together. Nice. Very nice. Doesn't that feel good with the strap? I love it. I mean, seriously, you could do this while you're sitting at your desk at work. If it were a long one, like Jesse, yours, you could strap it together here and just use it as like a girdle holder. All right, we're gonna do the other side without the strap. Try to see what your muscle memory has done for you. Come back to Tadasana. Pretend that strap is still there. Bring the left foot back. Hips are facing forward. Outer edge of the back foot, pressing it hard. Leg is straight. Glutes are engaged. Engage the lower belly. Drop the tailbone. Bend into the front knee. Yep, we're keeping the hands down. So a way to help without the strap, keep the chest lifted, is to bring the thumbs to the lower back, or just however close you can get them with the elbows pointing back. Notice your feet pressing into the mat. Be sure your lower back is not arched too much. You really want to just release the lower back. Nice. Okay, we're coming into Parshvatonasana. So inhale, straighten the front leg. Yep. Lift the chest. Exhale, hinge forward. Keep the elbows pointing straight back. If you press the feet, ripping the mat apart, you can inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head, and come down a little bit more, just like we did with the Uttanasana forward fold. See if that same formula works. It should, because your body has not changed since we did that. Take another breath or two. Very nice. Press the feet, inhale, come all the way up. Good, exhale here. Prepare for your warrior three, Virabhadrasana 3. Begin to shift your weight forward. Yep, and then back toes can stay on the ground or work by lifting with the inner thigh. The lifted leg toes stay pointed straight down. So if your hip wants to start to open up, just back out of it a little bit. Good. Hands can stay on the hips. Yep, or you can grab the elbows behind the back. Let the ankle wobble, let the body do what it wants to do here. Good. When you're ready, you can bend that standing knee and come back to Tadasana. Shake it out a little bit. Yes, that was awesome. Do you all have, it looks like you all have a wall or a couch or a bed near you, which is good, because we're gonna use that. We're gonna use that for our standing balancing pose when we are ready for that. Come to Tadasana, front of your mat. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold, pay close attention now to your chest and to your forward fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back. You can come in a child's pose or take the vinyasa chaturanga. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale, look up and get to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good. We're going to do the forward fold thing with the block, wide legs this time. So if your hamstrings were stopping you before, this will take the hamstrings out of it. So come wide stance, grab your block. If you see me do the splits, just don't laugh. I'm on like kind of a slippery floor, but I think I'll be all right. So take a nice wide stance, toes pointing straight forward, hands on the waist, elbows pointing back. Pretend you have that strap on your shoulders. Inhale, lift. Exhale, engage the legs. They're so strong right now. Fold forward. Rip the mat apart with your feet. Lift the sitting bones. Bring your hand down to the block. I'm going to come watch you guys, but I want you to pause here on the block. Lift the sitting bones. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head, and see if you can go a little bit further. Once you start getting rounding in the back, I want you to back out of it, even if you can come all the way down. Good. Now drop the head. Looks good. Keep the legs engaged. Now taking it a little further, be sure you're not rolling your ankles out. Press the outer ankles in. Lift the sitting bones. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. And exhale, fold. Even if you don't go further, just the action of getting the spine a little bit longer. And Robin, drop your head. Good. Take a couple more breaths here. Continue to keep the legs strong. Engage the lower belly. So we're going to come out of this slowly. On your next exhale, bring your hands back to the block if they are off the block. Good. Take a breath here. And then bring your hands to your waist. If your back feels like it needs to be protected, bend the knees a little bit. And then inhale, come all the way up. Good. Bring the feet together, come back to Tadasana. Palms facing up. We're going to inhale the arms all the way up. And as you exhale, come back into chair pose. So all the weight to the back of the body. Toes might lift, press the heels. Keep the knees together for stability. Take one more breath. Exhale, fold. Inhale, drop the sitting bones, come back up in the chair. Exhale, bring the hands in front of the heart. We're going to open up into a twist here. So go ahead, bring the right hand behind you, left arm in front of you. Take a breath. Knees are together. Keep the arms straight, palms together in front of you. Open up on the other side. One more breath, you can do it. Keep the arms straight, palms together. Forward fold here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good. All right, we're going to do the wonderful balancing posture of Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. You can use a strap here if you're not comfortable putting your foot on the wall or the bed next to you, but I'm just going to encourage you to use the wall. It's up to you. You can do both. You can use the wall and the strap. But what I want you to do is just get close enough to the wall so the foot can be parallel. And if your hamstrings are long enough, it'll work. If they're not, you're going to have to bend the knee a little bit, and that's okay. But what I want to kind of just focus on here is, while we're in this posture, pretend you have that strap on the shoulders. Keep your hands in front of the heart. We're not moving out to the side today. We're just keeping it just like this. And hey, you're in Warrior 3 right now, just in different relation to gravity. If the left hip is hanging out to the side, push it in, lift the pelvic floor, and lift the chest. One more breath. Really press the left foot, the standing foot, into the ground and move the leg away from the wall, just an inch or a centimeter, and then bring it down. Woo! Yeah, putting your heel just on top of the bed or something, Kate and Robin, especially for you guys, since you're working up to like that midway, if you just put, Kate, if you turn around and put your heel on the top of that bed, that might even be better. Yep, and Robin, you can use your bed too. Oh, I guess your leg is still pretty parallel to the floor. Well, either way. Here we go, other side. Left leg up. If you feel like your hips are pushing forward, then bring your leg down and get a little bit closer to the wall. Yes. And so straighten the standing leg. Good. Jesse, you could come a little bit closer to the wall. Or to the, yeah. So yeah, just bring your leg down. We're gonna take a couple more breaths here. All right. On your next exhalation, I want you to either lift your heel a little bit or push your foot away from the wall a little bit. So really ground that standing leg. Just a centimeter or so, just for a breath. Woohoo! That was really good. It was very good. All right, come to the front of your mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back. Chaturanga down. Inhale, up. Exhale, we're coming to hands and knees because it's pigeon time. So bring your right foot forward. Right knee forward, I didn't mean your foot. Well, your foot's coming forward too, but left leg back. And just kind of settle in. Make any adjustments that you need. You can roll out this right thigh to get some more space for your pelvis. And take a breath or so here before coming down to either the block or your forearms or all the way down. So this is a pose where you surrender. Whether you are using the block for support or your own hands for support, just let yourself be supported here. Yep, you can stack the fists, Robin, and rest your head on your fists. It's not easy to surrender and ask for help and let us be helped and supported. But how we deal with something like this on our mat is how we are probably going to be off the mat as well. There is no right or wrong. It's just an observation and a connection. Find your breath. See if you can creep those left toes, the left leg back just a little bit more, settling even deeper into your posture. If it doesn't go anywhere, if it doesn't go any further, if your body's good where it is, then that's great too. Two more breaths here. Deep, deep breaths. Expand the rib cage, front, back, sides. Pretend that strap is still around your shoulders, even for this pose. Next exhale, lift the head. Bring the palms to the mat and lift the torso, straightening the arms. Curl the back toes under, lift the back knee, and return back to hands and knees. So before we move on to the other side, you can rotate that leg. You can stretch it out, the right leg that was bent. Stretch it out behind you, just kind of move it around and do what feels good. And then when you're ready, move on to the other side. Left knee forward, right leg back. Tighten the straps around your shoulders in your mind's eye. And then go down as far as you'd like. Or I should say as far as your body likes. Your mind and your body are definitely going to argue with each other sometimes. And the idea of this pose too is to keep the spine as neutral as possible. That includes the neck. So we don't want the neck hanging down. We don't want the head hanging down. The head is heavy and the cervical spine or the neck is very fragile. So keep it neutral. Sink the heart a little bit more towards the floor. Good. And then take your deep, deep breaths, slow and steady. We're going to take 2 more breaths here. And then when you're ready for that last exhale, lift the head. Press the palms. Curl the back toes under, lift the back knee. And return back to hands and knees. Move that left leg around a little bit. You can even fall back into child's pose. Take a stretch here. And then when you're done, cross the ankles. We're going to have a seat. We did lots of forward folds today, or at least really focus on them. So I want you to take your strap. We're just going to move on to a supported bridge. And you're going to have a couple different options for this. But with your strap now, lock it together. What is the word or the phrase I'm looking for? Latch it together. The word is not coming to me. Connect your strap together. Kate, you need to unmute yourself and tell me. I know you have the word. Somebody does. Okay, anyways, we want to make sure that the legs are together. We're going to lie down on our backs and take your block with you. Lift the sacrum. So you might need to bend the knees to do this first, but you're going to lift, put the block underneath, put it on your sacrum, straighten the legs. This is your supported bridge today. If this is not a good enough stretch, opening the hips, then revisit the setting of the block. You can put it on the medium height, but be sure that the ledge is reading the spine. Do you know what I mean? If you have it on the medium height, it should line up with your spine. If it's on the flattest height, it should read your sacrum, and your pelvis should be lined up with this, okay? Decide where you're at, and just do goddess arms. Open up the front of the body. It should feel pretty good at this point because we focused also a lot on spreading the pectoral muscles and the collarbones. And the legs are wrapped just to give you the sense that you can let go with the legs and that you won't fall off. Your legs will stay together. So release the muscles in the legs for this so the hips can open up. If the strap is completely uncomfortable, then, you know, get rid of it and see how you are with it. We're going to take just another breath or two here. Feel the hips unraveling. Go ahead on your next exhale, bend the knees. Lift the pelvis, remove the block. And then remove the strap however you need to. If you need to sit up to do it, be sure that you roll on your right side first, or you can lift the legs and take it off that way. Once the strap is removed, we are going to move into one more twist before our Shavasana. So cross the right leg over the left. Let your knees hang to the left. So just like if you were sitting in a chair and your legs were crossed, yep, right over left, drop the knees to the left. You can extend the arms out now, or you can keep them as goddess arms. Keep the right shoulder heavy. Next exhale, come back to center, knees up towards the ceiling, uncross the legs, bring the left over the right, and drop the knees to the right. Keep the left shoulder heavy. Next exhale, bring the knees back to center. Uncross the legs. You can just hug the knees here. You can do happy baby here, whichever feels better. Rock a little bit left to right, whichever you choose. And then drop the feet, extend the legs, extend the arms overhead. Take a long stretch. Yawn, circle the wrists, the ankles. You made it. Get ready for your Shavasana. Gosh, that felt like an extra short class. We should start making them longer. 3 deep breaths. Separate the lips, exhale. Like a breath is the magnet collecting any garbage you need to get rid of, stress, anxiety. Let it leave the body as you exhale. One more time. And as you breathe out, feel the muscles begin to soften. Feel the bones settle to the back of the body. And notice yourself just observing what is happening internally, physically, mentally. Just noticing. And let go of what you think you should feel like right now, or what you should be thinking right now. And just let yourself be what you are right now.